The top stories tonight in Y News. This year marks the staging of the largest Balikatan exercise between United States and Philippine troops. A senator vows to comply with the directive of the Supreme Court or SC to comment to the petition filed by religious group leader Apollo Quiboloy. The Armed Forces of the Philippines probes the purported alarming increase of Chinese students in the province of Cagayan. And we will discover why the European Union decided to prepare fresh sanctions against Iran following the recent missile and drone attack on the weekend. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, the 17th of April, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado. First in the news. The Philippines and the United States of America will hold the largest annual joint training exercises this year, and the Balikatan exercises include a joint sail in the West Philippine Sea. Rosalie Cons will tell us why.
The largest Balikatan exercise between the United States and Philippine troops will take place from April 22 up to May 10. According to the executive agent of the 2024 Balikatan exercises, Colonel Michael Lohico, for the first time ever, the Philippine Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard, and the French Navy will be participating in the war games. And apart from the 16,000 military personnel from the two treaty allies, representatives from 14 other nations will also be present as observers of the joint drills.
The Philippine Coast Guard and the U.S. Coast Guard will also be joining. So if we count them all, it might be the largest. So the President is right.
The United States Mid-Range Capability or MRC missile system will also be deployed for training for the first time. The system has the capability to hit targets at a range of over 8,000 kilometers.
Yes, there is already a deployment of the MRC, the medium-range capability weapon system up north. It's not a new technology. It's a naval weapon system that the United States has put into a prime mover, and it has been deployed already up north.
This year, the Balikatan includes a multilateral maritime activity or a joint sail between the Philippines, U.S. and French navies in the West Philippine Sea or within the country's exclusive economic zone. The aim of the military exercises is to enhance collaboration among allied nations' militaries. It also aims to demonstrate the Philippines' readiness to defend the territory.
Part of the scenario would be the invasion and the aerial access. So yan yung tinitingnan natin, kaya nakafocus yung SALACNIV for the aerial defense systems natin.
The military exercises will be conducted in areas under the Northern Luzon Command, Western Command, and Southern Luzon Command. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, clarified that this is not directed against any specific country.
I do not discount the possibility that this also sends a message to our adversaries, to our friends, to our allies, and also to our like-minded partners. The message, actually, if you take it into totality, is the main goal of the exercise objectives, which is to demonstrate the strength of the alliance and our willingness to defend our territory.
Aside from the MRC missile system, the United States will also deploy fighter jets, helicopters, and aircrafts for the Balikatan exercise. Meanwhile, the AFP will utilize the BRP Antonio Luna and other new military hardware. Rosalie Cons, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A lawmaker vows to respond to the directive of the Supreme Court to comment on the petition filed by religious group leader Apollo Quiboloy against the Senate's arrest order. This report will tell us why. The Supreme Court, or SC, has required the Senate to comment on the petition filed by Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Apollo Quiboloy. The petition seeks to nullify the subpoena, contempt, arrest, and detention orders issued by the Senate against Quiboloy by issuing a temporary restraining order. The Senate has 10 days to submit its comment upon receipt. SC spokesperson Camille Ting says the resolution was issued by the court en banc on April 3, and the 10-day period will begin once the respondents receive the notices from the clerk of court.
Require po nila yung respondents or yung Senate to file a comment on the petition of Pastor Quiboloy as well as yung prayer niya for the issuance of a TRO. Ibig sabihin nito, hindi naman po dininay ng Supreme Court yung TRO.
In a statement, Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros, who chairs the Senate committee leading the investigation into Quiboloy's alleged abuses, says she is ready to answer any orders from the High Court. The opposition senator adds her counsel, former Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, is also ready to study and respond as soon as possible. While they have yet to receive and read the order, the lawmaker assures to comply with the directive of the SC, recognizing the principle of separation of powers and highest respect for the country's institutions. Hontiveros hopes that the said principle will guide everyone, including Quiboloy. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri, who is also one of the respondents, has yet to release a statement on the matter. Harding Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. The Philippine National Police has formally charged the driver of the van transporting billions worth of illegal drugs seized in Alitagtag, Batangas. The suspect, identified as Ajalon Michael Zarate, faces charges for violating Section 5, Article 2 of the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, specifically on the transportation of illegal drugs. Additionally, he is expected to face other charges for the use of counterfeit vehicle plates.
May mga kinakausap na po tayong tao, including yung areas kung saan last seen itong suspect po natin, including yung ibang mga personalities. But I really cannot give details for now dahil I'm not at liberty to reveal other details. Dahil sabi ko nga, while I have some information, I don't want to be the cause of kompromiso po ng mga tropa po natin on the ground. May mga initial verifications na rin po tayo, pati na rin po yung ibang mga plaka na obviously ay fake po doon sa loob ng sasakyan. So maliban pa nga po sa kaso ng Section 5 ay may mga kaso pa pong kakaharapin itong suspect for using fake plate numbers po.
Police Colonel Jean Fajardo, meanwhile, Colonel Fajardo confirmed the completion of the inventory of the seized drugs, which have since been turned over to the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. Originally estimated to weigh 2 tons, valued at 13.3 billion pesos, only over 1.4 tons remain, amounting to over 9.6 billion pesos.
No less than the President has stated earlier po na there are indication na galing po sa labas itong mga illegal drugs, but I hope you understand we really cannot give more details dahil nga po as we speak yung ating pong intel operatives are conducting investigation and possible follow-up operation po. Alam po natin ang Batangas po ay malawak po yung coastal areas diyan. So yan po yung subject ng ating investigation and intelligence build-up po. That is the main reason why we cannot give more details so as not to compromise po yung ongoing follow-up operations po.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines is now investigating the purported alarming increase of Chinese students in the province of Cagayan. Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Robert Ace Barbers previously raised concerns over the unexplained surge of Chinese workers, businessmen, tourists, and students in the country. According to the AFP, they are conducting an investigation into the matter, particularly focusing on determining the true intentions of the Chinese students in Cagayan. Some also express skepticism, especially considering Cagayan's proximity to Taiwan.
we are conducting our internal investigation on the veracity of these reports. Ano ba talaga yung pakay nila towards this influx of these numbers, no? Pero syempre, it's not just within the bounds of the AFP, sir. So meron tayo dyan, how they got in the Philippines in the first place, yung legality nung pagpasok nila dito sa bansa natin, do they have the necessary papers, and sabi nga, estudyante to, so kung meron ba silang student visas that are required. So we are coordinating with the Bureau of Immigration, the DFA, and since students to, sir, no, pati yung CHED.
The AFP has yet to determine whether the reported increase of Chinese students in Cagayan poses a security concern for the nation. One possible reason for the influx of Chinese students there is speculated to be for the promotion of tourism.
If we look at it at the security standpoint, no, kung ano po yung what will come out of our internal investigation of kung threat ba talaga ito, because ang sabi ko nga, there's different facets to it. So it could be helping us in the economic side of things, but you know, look, our perspective is in the security side. So sa side po namin, rest assured po that the AFP will take this seriously, and of course, it's our mandate to protect the people and secure the state.
And for the news abroad, the European Union will be preparing fresh sanctions against Iran, while the United States and its European allies urge Israel to show restraint. Ryuji Sasaki will tell us why live. Yes, Ryuji, good evening.
Good evening, Maeve. Western nations fear retaliation by Israel following Iran's missile and drone attack on the weekend, bringing the Middle East at the edge of an abyss. According to European Union top diplomat Josep Borrell, several EU members including Germany and France have proposed to place tough sanctions on Iran's capital, Tehran, curbing its ability to sell oil and its supply of Iranian attack drones to Russia. Some EU members have also suggested the sanctioning of the Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iran's dominant military force. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak advised his Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu in a phone call to approach the situation calmly, as escalating tension will only worsen the region's instability. All ministers from the 27-nation EU condemned the Iranian attack and asserted their commitment to Israel's security. However, Borrell also criticized Israel for the catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza. The EU will meet again on Monday, April 22, to discuss the proposed sanctions on Iran. Back to you, Maeve.
Thank you, Ryuji Sasaki, live from Japan. The recent examination of the Palestinian Authority's application for full United Nations or UN membership by UN Security Council Committee has resulted in a lack of unanimous agreement on its suitability, as differing views were expressed. The 15-member council agreed on its report released on Tuesday, April 16, after meeting twice last week to discuss Palestine's application. Despite the setback, the Palestinian Authority is determined to advance its cause by urging the Security Council to vote on a draft resolution advocating its full membership, with a vote potentially taking place as early as Thursday, April 18. However, the path to full UN membership requires approval from the Security Council, where the United States, an ally of Israel, holds veto power, along with the approval of at least two-thirds of the General Assembly to succeed, adding another layer of challenge to the process. Meanwhile, the United States previously stated for Palestine to establish itself as an independent state, negotiations between direct parties should occur and not through the United Nations. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Maeve. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority will be joined by the Department of the Interior and Local Government to intensify anti-colorum operations nationwide. JP Nunez details why.
A joint task force has been formed between the Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG, Department of Transportation or DOTR, and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA. This task force will conduct anti-colorum operations across the country. Police personnel will now join the Land Transportation Office or LTO, Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB, and the MMDA when they are conducting anti-colorum operations. This is in line with the mandate of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to the DILG during the town hall meeting for traffic concerns last week.
Karamihan ng hinuhuli mo, hindi lahat magalang o matino eh. Yung iba talaga, medyo, alam mo na, medyo aggressive. But with the presence of a persons in authority na talagang police, medyo tumitino.
DOTR and MMDA expect that the joint task force will now result to more apprehension of colorum vehicles.
Siguro hindi mahirap gawin na 100% walang colorum, no? Pero kung mabawasan natin ng 90%, ay malaking tulong na yan sa ating mga legitimate transport operators. Imagine niyo po, sa pagsasanib puwersa ng tatlong ahensya, DILG, DOTR, MMDA, kasama pa po ang PNP, mas mapapalaki pa po namin yung operasyon against colorum. So i-expect niyo po na mas maraming huli ang aming magagawa, maraming apprehension sa loob lamang na mas maikling panahon.
Meanwhile, DOTR explained that the task force will also conduct operations come May 1 or after the deadline of franchise consolidation. Traditional jeepneys and other PUVs which do not comply with the deadline of franchise consolidation by April 30 will be colorum vehicles.
Yung mga hindi magko-consolidate ay hindi na marirenew yung kanilang prangkisa, no? And pag hindi na renew yung kanilang prangkisa, they will be considered colorum, no? So kasama sila dun sa mga puhulihin natin.
Colorum jeepneys may be fined 200,000 pesos plus impound of their vehicles, while buses will be fined 1 million pesos. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Davo International Airport extends its runway repair until June 1. Airline companies were advised to reschedule their flights and inform their passengers. Lalaine Moreno tells us why.
Preventive maintenance on the runway of the Davo International Airport is extended until June 1, 2024 due to emergency repairs. This includes repairing the damaged asphalt surface, applying an emulsified asphalt layer, pouring a hot bituminous asphalt mixture across 1,200 square meters, and repainting the runway markings. The runway will be closed from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. for repair.
May mga linear cracks, linear cracks due to wear and tear. Medyo natanggal yung asphalt niya na surface, linear crack line. Yung damage niya is what appears to be like cracks, no? So yun yung inaayos natin kasi we don't want the damage to worsen, no? Kasi kung pababayaan natin yan, kasi malapit siya doon sa yung touchdown zone.
According to Davo International Airport General Manager Engineer Rex Obsena, this is the third time that the runway will undergo repair. The first repair was on January 29 until February 17. It was followed last April 8 until May 31, but the 1,200 square meters damage is too much. The previous 6-hour closure was reduced to 4 hours to minimize the effect on airline operations.
Itong mga damages na ito, hindi pa talaga tayo umabot doon sa punto na delikado na. Masasabi natin na delikado na for aircraft operations, no? So tolerable pa siya at this point in time. Kaya natin ginagawa 'yan ngayon kasi ayaw natin na umabot tayo sa punto na magiging intolerable na siya. That will be cause for grave safety concern, no? Na makakaapekto na sa safety natin.
the Philippine Airlines adjusted their flights between Davao and Manila. This includes flight PR2821 Manila-Davao, PR2822 Davao-Manila, PR2807 Manila-Davao, PR2808 Davao-Manila. Affected passengers received email notifications and were provided with options to rebook, reroute, or refund their tickets. The CAAP alone gave notice to airmen for the closure. Only 6 out of 84 daily flights are affected by the runway closure. Meanwhile, the Davao City government told the CAAP to act swiftly and improve the facilities at the Davo Airport. Lele Moreno, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And in other global news, Rishi Sunak's efforts to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda face ongoing opposition from his peers. Despite attempts by parliament members to overturn previous changes, the legislative standoff in Westminster continues, reflecting deep divisions over the controversial policy. Joselito Liquido will tell us the details live. Yes, good evening, Joselito.
Good evening, Mabe. The safety of the Rwanda Bill, or the Asylum and Immigration Bill, aimed at sending asylum seekers who arrive via small boats in the channel to Kigali, continues to be contested in Westminster. Though the government enlisted additional peers to narrow the margin of defeats, the upper house member persisted in demanding revisions. The bill, coupled with a treaty with Rwanda, seeks to avoid legal challenges to asylum scheme declared unlawful by the Supreme Court. It mandates judges to consider Rwanda as safe and grants ministers power to ignore emergency injunctions. However, the upper house members insisted on amendments to restore domestic courts' jurisdiction regarding Rwanda's safety, ensuring compliance with international and domestic laws, and verifications of Rwanda's protections before deeming it safe. An exemption for those who assisted the United Kingdom military or government overseas also gains renewed support. The upper house members' amendment set to stage for further debate between houses, prolonging the legislative processes. Sunak, who is prioritizing stopping the boats, aims for swift passage of the bill, while a spokesperson emphasized the urgency to save lives and dismantle criminal gangs' operations. Back to you, Mabe.
Thank you, Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. The court has selected 7 individuals to serve as jurors in the trial involving former United States President Donald Trump. This group involves 2 lawyers, an English teacher, a software engineer, and an oncology nurse. A sales professional from Ireland will act as the jury foreman. However, it will take several days to complete the 12-person jury and the additional alternate seats. New York Supreme Court Judge Juan Merchan issued a warning that he will not tolerate any attempts to intimidate the jurors. This comes after reports surfaced of Mr. Trump allegedly whispering while the panel members were being questioned. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mavian Dog, live from Australia. Good evening.
Members of Meralco's interruptible load program participated yesterday, which is why only a few areas were affected by the emergency manual load dropping implemented after the Luzon grid was placed under yellow and red alert status due to the failure of 19 power plants. Ryan Lacanlale details why.
The Interruptible Load Program, or ILP, of Meralco saved consumers yesterday, April 16, to avoid experiencing more rotational power interruptions after the Luzon grid was placed under yellow and red alert status due to the failure of 19 power plants in Luzon. According to Meralco, a total of 340.20 megawatt of electricity, equivalent to 1 power plant, was reduced from their loading capacity when the ILP was activated.
Na-free up yung 340 megawatts na yon para magamit ng mga consumers na wala naman alternative source of electricity except Meralco. Yung walang mga sariling generator set, sino yan? yan yung mga kabahayan, no? Kamukha natin na in our residences.
It means that simultaneously, large industries did not use electricity from Meralco. Instead, they used their own generator sets, which reduced the load that Meralco need to supply. The Interruptible Load Program has been a 10-year program where large customers of Meralco are allowed to use their own generators at the specific times to help alleviate the high demand of electricity. However, according to Meralco, this is only a temporary solution to the shortage of electricity supply in the country. The ultimate solution is still the addition of more power plants as a source of supply.
But then again, this really is a stopgap measure for now. At the end of the day, it is really a matter of having more capacity in the system, and for that said capacity to meet the rising demand as far as the power needs of the Luzon grid is concerned.
According to Meralco, the highest demand for electricity is usually experienced in the middle of May. Therefore, it is expected that there will be a continued increase in electricity demand. Ryan Lacanlale, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God, from the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 2. It says, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. And those are the reasons behind the news, April 17, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Hardin Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.